Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. You really want to survive the modern forms of shirk? Read and see the information below. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Shirk on facial emoticons, posters, photos of creatures, statues and billboards based on Muhammad Qasim's dream, an explanation of the hadith propositions. In Muhammad Qasim's dream, it was explained that statues, pictures of creatures, photos that are commonly used as social media profile pics, pictures of creatures on daily product packaging, as well as photos that are displayed in homes, offices and boards, advertisements on the streets, and on buildings, as well as facial emoticons commonly used on social media, are forms of shirk in this modern era. Before we start, you should agree on this, that the propriety of a believer, when warned about polytheism, should be very careful, and very vigilant in order to distance himself from this unforgivable sin. As a start, consider the hadith below. From Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Gabriel alayhi salam came to me saying, I came to you last night, and it didn't prevent me from entering the house, except because there was a statue front the door. There was a curtain with pictures, living things, and there was a dog in the house. Then the head of the statue that is in the house should be cut off so that it is in the shape of a tree, and the curtain should be cut. And then 2 pillows used as the backs, and the dog should be taken out, then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam do it. Narrated by Abu Dawud and At-Tirmidhi, and authenticated by Yahya al-Albani. Many Muslims have consulted their religious teachers, asking whether the use of facial emoticons is shirk or not. Often read arguments and explanations, like this. You can easily find them on the internet. But by misunderstood, unfortunately this explanation then becomes the argument for most Muslims today, who justify the use of pictures of creatures, both in the form of emoticons and making posters. As with the examples of posters that we have shared before, causing them to commit shirk without realizing it. We can also find this on advertisement boards, on product packaging. Every product that is packaged using images of living things falls into this category. As explained by one of the scholars, namely Sheikh bin Baz, the hadith above is used as an argument that cutting other than the head is like cutting the lower half of the body, or something like that is not enough, and it is not permissible to use it, and this remains a barrier for angels to enter into the house, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered to tear up the image and delete it, and he reported that this prevented angels from entering the house, except for images that were humiliated, or had their heads cut off. Whoever has reasons for keeping pictures at home other than these 2 reasons, then it is obligatory for him to bring evidence from the Book of Allah, and the Sunnah of His Messenger. Narrated in Majmu' Fatawa, by Sheikh bin Baz 429. The following hadith will make it easier for you to understand this issue, inshallah. From Abdullah bin Abbas radiyallahu anhu, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the essence of the picture is the head. If the head is cut off, then it is not a picture. Narrated by Al-Bayhaqi No 48, in Maqf from Ibn Abbas, Al-Ismaili and Muqaddimasi Uyuk, No 29 in Marfu. If you look at the above hadiths, as well as the hadiths of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about pictures of other creatures, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made the presence or absence of a head a measure of whether or not an image of an animate creature is permissible. If there is a head, then it is not permissible, and if there is no head, then it is permissible. The head is the most important part of the body, which distinguishes between animate creatures and trees and inanimate objects. If the body is cut off the head, then it will be like the shape of a tree, but if the head is cut off, the body is still in the form of an animate creature. On the head there is a beautiful creation, and an image on the face that is not found on the other limbs. It is not permissible for a person who understands the intention of Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to put the limbs on the head. In other cases, activists of Dawah posters remove the beauty of the face on the head, such as making the face look innocent. For the sake of justifying the image of the creature, they remove the eyes, nose and mouth in the image. Oh, what's the difference between this picture and the statues in shopping malls/clothing shops? Muslims also need to know that statues resembling creatures, at this time we usually see in malls, clothing shops, and markets, parks and even in the yards of the houses of a small number of Muslims, are part of the forms of modern shirk in this era, based on Muhammad Qasim's dream, and the explanation of the above proposition. Likewise, by displaying photos of ourselves, and our families, photos of artists, photos of ustads or ulama, photos of heads of state, and also the use of clothes with pictures of creatures, such as humans and animals and so on, they are a form of shirk. Based on Muhammad Qasim's dreams, and explanations of the propositions on. We find many forms of this shirk in our current environment. Oh, the way to avoid it, in order to be safe from these forms of polytheism, based on Muhammad Qasim's dream, is not to do these things and not see them. By turning your face when passing in front of the photo, picture or statue while saying, Uban Allah, and say in your heart, that Allah is holy from what you just saw. And also cover it by crossing it out, with a marker or marker pen, or cover it with duct tape, with pictures of the creatures found on the product packaging for your daily needs. However, for the use of photos of creatures that are appropriate to the needs, and portions where the photos are really needed for information needs, such use is permissible as long as they are used according to information needs, and are not excessive, such as the need for delivering news, promoting interviews, identity cards and so on, and also not for display without the necessary requirements. You are also still allowed to take pictures of the moments you want as a keepsake, but these pictures are not for you to display, or for you to make as wallpaper on your smartphone or laptop, but you save them in a folder and you only open and see them when you need them. In today's paper currency and coins we also find pictures of these creatures. In response to this government policy which we are forced to use, this is an exception. Thus a brief explanation that we can explain. Of course this is not perfect, because to discuss it more deeply requires two-way communication and discussion meetings, giving direct examples, so that it can be explained more broadly. But the explanation above, I think is enough for you. Inshallah. Thanks for watching this video. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.